Hi, welcome to my channel. If you're not familiar with who I am, my name is Erica and I have been reading since August of 2023. And what I mean by reading is reading for fun. I had found self-help books in the beginning of 2023, and in August of 2023, I put self-help aside and picked up book talk books. And I have been on that journey ever since. However, at the end of last year, 2024, I decided that my goal for 2025 was to read for me, to read what I wanted to read, when I wanted to read it, and how the speed I wanted to read it at, but to also put my toes back into the self-help world and get kind of the best of both worlds. And so in January, I did that, and this is my January wrap-up video. I had a total of 9 books. 3 of those were self-help, and I'm not going to go into what self-help books I read because I feel like unless it can apply to the masses, I feel like those can be a little personal, and these ones were, so I'm not going to go into those. However, I did read a total of 6 fiction books. Only 5 of them I finished, and the last one I did DNF. So let's get into it. I started off the year reading Fourth Wing. This was a reread for me, and I wanted to reread it in preparation for Onyx Storm coming out. I did immersive read this, so I read it with my eyes at the same time that I was listening to the graphic audio. I did not have a good time. One, I don't think graphic audios are for me, and 2, like, I genuinely don't think rereading is for me either. I just couldn't get myself to pick it up. And then at that time, at the point too, with the graphic audio, why are they moaning so desperately while kissing? I really want to understand that, actually. It was very cringy. I really struggled with that, if I'm being completely honest, and it really took me out of the book and just made me feel very weird. So I did not enjoy this reread, and because of that, I didn't want to reread Iron Flame either. Now, my goal for 2025 was to read for me and make sure I read what I wanted to read, so I did end up skipping Iron Flame. After this book, I was really in the mood for something taboo. Okay, that's my like go-to genre is taboo romance, forbidden romance. So I picked up What Was Meant to Be by QB Tyler. The premise of the book, the plot of the book, is everything that I love. I did not love this. I wanted to love it more than I did. It got a little cringy for me. And at this point, because this was cringy and now this is cringy, I was really thinking to myself, I'm like, am I in a book slump? I don't know what's going on, genuinely. So I struggled with this one. I did get, it just felt very predictable for me. It felt like I knew exactly what was going to happen, and then it did. The writing wasn't my favorite style either. I just really struggled with this, and I was upset that I struggled with it, but I did finish it. I did end up giving it 3 stars. After this, I started Chasing the Wild by Elliot Rose, but because Onyx Storm was coming out, I put this down. So, reviewing Onyx Storm first, I thought it was great. I really did. I gave it 4 stars. The first 50% of it I spent pretty confused, honestly. But again, I didn't reread Iron Flame, so I kind of went into this expecting to be confused. And I am very much a here for the vibes type of reader, not a let me inspect this and go through all the theories and all the foreshadowing, like your typical fantasy reader. That's just not me. I'm very much here for the vibes, here for the banter, here for the spice. I just kept reading, and I let the story take me in. I had a good time. I do feel angry with the author at the moment. And I feel angry that I have to wait a couple years for the next book. However, I've accepted that that's just the roller coaster that is a new fantasy release. And overall, it was good. I gave it 4 stars. So then I went back to finishing Chasing the Wild. As far as taboo books go, this is what I was looking for. This was very good. There was only one tiny thing in it that gave me a little bit of an ick. Okay, a tiny thing in it. And it's happened in multiple books now, and I think I'm just realizing it's just not my thing, which is not the book's fault. It's my fault. But overall, I gave it like 4.5 stars just because of that one tiny ick. It just wasn't perfection for me. But overall, I loved this, the tension, the angst, the forbiddenness of it. It was really good. The sequel also looks even better than the first, so I'm excited to continue on in the series. But overall, it wasn't perfect for me, so I gave it 4.5. After this, I had to squeeze in my book club book, which was The Nickel Boys by Colson, Whitehead. I was not in the mood. I'm a mood reader, and I was not in the mood for this book, but it's my book club, and I feel some type of way about not reading a book that my book club chooses. So I read it, and I did not like it. I think the story was powerful. I think the story needed to be told. I didn't like the writing style, and I felt very confused throughout most of it, and I just didn't like how it was depicted in this specific novel. I think the story definitely deserves to be told, and I think a different writing style might have resonated with me a little bit more, but that's okay. I ended up giving that 2 stars. So after that, because I was not in the mood for that, I was still in the mood for more taboo. It's like my go-to genre when I'm kind of feeling slumpy. I love taboo, I love forbidden. I think it's really good. I don't know why, but I went with Balance by Lucia Franco, which is the first book in the Off Balance series. Every single time I've talked about this book, heard about this book, anything about this book, I have never once heard anything bad about it. Not once. I DNF'd it. I could not get on board. It was definitely the writing for me. It just wasn't for me, and that's okay. By 30%, I did not care at all about any of the characters or anything that was going to happen or did happen. I genuinely could not get myself to pick it up, and every single time I picked it up, I ended up picking up my phone every like 5 minutes. So I did, in the spirit of my 2025 goal and reading what I want to read, I realized that this was just not jiving with me, and I did DNF at about 30%. I heard that at 50%, it does pick up and get better, but this is a 6-book series. No, absolutely not. Not for me. So that's okay. But that's how we ended the month, on a DNF. And honestly, with everything in this month, the only book, besides Rebecca Yarros, of course, but the only book that was really decent was this one. So January wasn't the greatest month, to be honest. I hate starting the year off that way, but that's okay. I think that February will have some much better reads, and I'm excited to see what's in store. So make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'm excited to show you what I read in February. I have some cute vlogs coming. I love you all so much. I'm excited to put more effort and time into YouTube, and I plan to show up here a lot more than I have in the past. So I look forward to doing this year with you and to see what YouTube brings.